Hey crafty friends, it's Lisa, your DIY diva. Have you ever seen the really expensive and beautiful floral arrangements at the high-end stores? Well, if you want to know how to make the same type of arrangements for a lot less money, this is the video for you. Let's start with something easy. So these are some greenery stems. They're $44.95 a piece for one stem. I want to show you how to make something like this, and it's not going to cost a lot of money. So I found this vase at Goodwill, so it was $1.99. That is a fantastic price. So I took the vase out into the garage and gave it a fresh look with some white spray paint. Now this is a high gloss spray paint by Rust-Oleum. I love that by adding some spray paint, you can take something and totally reinvent it and make it look a lot more expensive than it really is. Now these are the stems that I found on Amazon, and they were $14 for two of them. So I bought two packages, so I got 4 stems, so that's $28. And I think they have a similar look to the stems from Williams-Sonoma. So once my vase was dry, I brought it back into my craft room and I took a small piece of floral foam that I got from Dollar Tree and I glued that to the bottom of the vase. Then I decided how long I wanted these stems to be coming out of the vase, and I just cut off the bottom so it'll be the size that I want it for this arrangement. Now, one thing that I've learned with doing all kinds of different projects like this is that if you cut the stems down a little bit more, so for example, I'm taking one stem and I'm turning it into 2. This way I can place them individually into the vase and it will make it look a lot fuller in appearance, simply by cutting off individual stems from the single stem. I like doing it this way because I have a lot more control over the finished project. And I thought by buying 4 stems, that would help me to achieve the look that the arrangement from Williams-Sonoma had. But in the end, I didn't even need to use all 4 of those stems. I only used 2 of the stems to make this arrangement, and I think it looks beautiful. This looks a lot more expensive than $16, and that's what I ended up spending to create this look. $16 versus $135 for the Williams-Sonoma branches. I think the $16 version looks just as nice, and I even have a vase that I can put my branches in. Now for this next arrangement, this also is from Williams-Sonoma, and it's 40 white tulips in a glass container for $439. To me, that's a little too much money to spend for something that is definitely beautiful, but that's just not in my budget, even though I do like that look. So again, I visited Amazon to see what I could find, and they have a lot of different tulips. So this bunch of tulips This was $21.99, and it includes 15 separate tulips. You can get them in different colors, but I wanted the white ones because I want it to look like the Williams-Sonoma tulip vase. And the one thing that stood out to me the most with these flowers is the bases. They definitely have a more realistic appearance on the stems. The stems definitely look real. And the tulips have different levels of being open. I think that's a nice touch as well. And I also found these tulips. Now these come in a bunch of 20, and right now they're $6 on Amazon. So for $12, I got 40 tulips. Now these don't look quite as realistic as the first tulips that I showed you, but when you put them all together, they actually look really nice. And the fact that you can get 20 of these for $6 is a fantastic bargain. I think you can really see the difference on the stems. These are the typical tulips that you'll find on Amazon and a lot of other places. But if you really wanted to get a very, very high-end look like the Williams-Sonoma arrangement, you could spend the extra money and get the tulips that were $21.99 for 15 of the individual flowers. Just buy 3 or 4 bunches of those, and you would definitely be able to create a look that more resembles the more expensive arrangement. But I really wanted to show you, you can get budget-friendly florals like these and add in some that are a little bit more expensive to craft a really nice high-end look. So now I'm just going to take all of the tulips that I have and I'm going to try and mimic the look that the other arrangement had. So I want to have the more expensive tulips kind of mingled in between all of the others. And by turning the flowers just a little bit, that's going to help give it that same look that the more expensive arrangement has. So I'm just going to spread the stems out a little bit into the vase. And this vase I found at Hobby Lobby probably about a year ago. And the funny thing is, it's not even a vase. This is meant to hold candles. So if you want to find this vase, it's actually a candle holder and it's up towards the front of the store with other candle holders, I think in the wedding supplies. For me, this is a beautiful piece that I am so happy to use this spring for my decorating. The entire arrangement cost me about $40, and that includes the vase. That's a lot more affordable and more in my budget than $440, which was the cost of the high-end arrangement. The tulips are definitely beautiful, and mingling in the more expensive ones with the more affordable ones and being able to see the different stems, I really like how that looks. And if you wanted it to really look real, you could also put some water into the bottom of the vase. All right, now this is the most expensive floral arrangement I found, but it was so pretty. Again, this is from Williams-Sonoma, and it's $889.95. Oh my goodness. That is a lot of money to spend on a floral arrangement. But if you want to have a similar look, you can go to Amazon, and I will leave links to all of the different flowers that I bought in case you wanted to make these arrangements for yourself. But I started off with a Dollar Tree vase, and this was one of the more expensive vases from Dollar Tree. It was $3. And then I took all of the different bunches of flowers that I bought and I separated them into individual stems. So the ranunculus, those came in a package of 4 almost bouquets, and they were $16.99. So I separated out all of those flowers first. and then put the individual stems into the vase. And just like the tulip arrangement, I didn't add anything into the bottom of the vase to hold the stems in place. This arrangement is going to have so many different flowers that just by adding in the individual stems, it has a very full appearance. I did have 2 extra bouquets of flowers, or I guess almost bushes, that they were really similar to the flowers that I got from Amazon. So I did the same process of just bending down the stems and then using my nipping tool to cut the individual stems. On some of the stems, I did leave the leaves, and then on the others, I took them off. These were really pretty. These are green hydrangeas. I think I'm saying that right, but these were super pretty. Again, they're from Amazon and they were $18.99. I got 4 stems, which have 3 flowers on each stem. So 12 flowers for $18.99. And on the green stems, I did remove the leaves. One thing I've learned with doing lots of different floral arranging like this and just playing around with the different silk flowers is there's no right or wrong way of how to do it, especially with an arrangement like this one, because it's going to be so full. You just have to put each piece into your vase and see how it looks. And if you get all of the stems into the vase and you're not happy with it, that just means you haven't achieved the finished look. You can take everything out easily and start over. I did have a bundle of Dollar Tree roses that I thought might look nice in here as well. So same process, just removed the individual flowers and then took the leaves off and then tucked them down into my arrangement. And all in for this arrangement, I did end up spending about $60. And I thought about buying some willow branches, but I decided I would just use some craft paper that's wrapped around wire and add those in. That will look similar to the willow stems that the more expensive arrangement had. But I think this turned out so nice. I love how this arrangement looks on our dining room table. It's so pretty. And it definitely gets me in the mood for spring. I've been so impressed with the quality of the silk flowers that I've been finding on Amazon. I think they look just as nice as the more expensive version. Now, Pottery Barn is very popular for the traditional fake olive branches. They're beautiful, but they're also really expensive. So I went back to Amazon to see what I could find. And even on Amazon, the olive branches are a little bit more expensive. I was able to get 5 stems for $20. Now, these are the longer ones. They do have shorter ones you can find for less. But the one thing that I found with the olive branches is you really have to work each individual stem and each individual leaf because they're more of a fabric leaf and they tend to have lots of wrinkles. So I think for this project, I actually spent the most time because I did go through stem by stem, leaf by leaf, and tried to get each individual leaf looking as good as I could. Now, sometimes the stems can be very, very strong, so you do have to work it a little bit if you have a nipping tool. And I would really, really recommend something strong that can cut through those thick wire stems. So once I had all of the leaves straightened out on each of the stems, then I came back with some floral wire and I just wrapped that around the entire bundle of the branches. If you have a large zip tie, I think that would work just as well. And this is one type of arrangement where I do want to have all of the different stems bunched up closer together because that's going to give a fuller look in the different vases that I'm going to be using it in. And because I didn't have a zip tie that was large enough to go around this bunch of stems, the floral wire worked really well. And this is not the first time that I've created something like this. I have these olive branches already in my bedroom, but I got these to fill the Pottery barn vase that I had gotten at Goodwill and gave an updated look using some spray paint. That was what I bought these stems for, and I think it looks really nice. Yes, this is a Pottery barn vase that I got for, I think it was like $10 or $12 at Goodwill. So for $12 for the vase, and $20 for 5 of the stems, this is a beautiful and affordable project that I'm happy to have in my living room. And because I was having so much fun doing all of these different floral arrangements, I had this beautiful vase that I bought at Hobby Lobby. I think this was like 2 years ago, and they still sell this vase. It's so pretty. It's almost a milk glass or hobnail type of vase. It's very pretty. For my decorating, this type of a vase fits in perfectly. And I had these beautiful flowers that I have been wanting to put into something, and I thought they would look really nice, just kind of flowing out of the top of this vase. And because this is more of a shallow vase, I trimmed down each individual stem to get it so that it will just basically make a bouquet of flowers that are just peeking out above the top. I kept trimming down each individual stem until I got it to the size that I wanted it to be. I find it's a lot easier to cut off a little bit at a time instead of taking too much, and then I end up with flowers that are too short for their intended purpose. But like I said, after making all of these different floral arrangements, I was having so much fun. I just couldn't stop myself. And that was why I decided to finally use this vase and finally use these flowers. And of course, I am not a professional floral arranger, so I probably don't arrange flowers the way the professionals do, but that's okay because these are just different arrangements that I'm going to be using in my own home, and I wanted to share them with you because if you want to get the look of the high-end stores but you don't want to spend all of that money, you don't have to. There's different things that you can do to make really affordable floral arrangements so that you can have beautiful flowers in your home without spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars. Flowers and greenery and the different stems, to me, are a part of decorating, and I love doing this for the different seasons. I also find that by practicing and doing this over and over and over again for these different seasons, I get better and better with each arrangement, and I love looking at them almost as much as I love sharing these ideas with you. I really hope that you enjoyed crafting with me today with these flowers and the floral arrangements. And I really hope that I showed you how you can incorporate different floral arrangements into your own home and your decor without spending a lot of money. And with all of the crafting, you can make your home the home of your dreams, one DIY at a time. Until next time, stay crafty and keep creating.